Welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at Acumatica Purchasing Manager. And I'm starting out here on a dashboard, but first I'd like to just go into the menu itself. On the Purchases menu, in the Transaction sections, there's many ways you can create purchase orders. You can also start with requests. Maybe an internal request from an employee can be matched against budgets. We also have requisitions where you want to send something out for bidding. In this case, we have an item out for bid, and I can take a look at the item, go to my bidding section, and take a look at any vendors that I've added, send the request for proposal, take a look at the vendors' responses to those bids. I've got this one for $50. My other vendor sent back a bid on the same item for $50.01. So when I'm done, I can decide who I want to send this to. It maybe have to do with their minimum quantities or shipping times as well. We're not going to spend a lot more time on that. We're going to jump right into purchase orders itself. When I want to create a new purchase order, I can just go ahead, select new purchase order on my main menu, or just click the plus sign. Select a vendor that we want to purchase from. And then we can begin adding line items. Adding to our purchase order. Select that from our inventory, put in the quantity that we want. We have our cost in there defaulting, but we can change that. In addition, for those of you that are using our project solution, we can go over to project management and charge this particular item to a specific project phase and task. That's one way to enter a purchase order. But let's back out of here for a minute and just go back to purchase order new. In this case, I'm going to bring up Westerly. And instead of clicking on the plus sign and adding my line items, I want to go to my Add Items button here. And at this point, you'll see the Only Vendors Items is checked. I can uncheck that, order anything that I want from them. But by doing this, it tells me these are the items that I have set up to purchase from this vendor through my inventory system. Not only that, but I can look here and see my quantity on hand, quantity on purchase orders, quantity on receipts. So this helps me determine which items maybe I need to be ordering. And then all I need to do is put in the quantity that I want to order of each of these items, and I can just go down and enter them very quickly. This is a great way to go back and do replacement orders to your vendor. When you're done, add and close that, and it fills it in for you. Another way to bring in orders would be to use the upload. Sometimes you'd create a list of orders on a separate sheet that you're going to be using to type into here. If you're using a spreadsheet, I'm going to go over here to my orders file and go ahead and click upload. Make sure my spreadsheet has the correct descriptions in there so it knows how to map it for me. And that quickly, it brings all the items in right off of my spreadsheet. And it does some error checking so that I know here I put in a decimal place where I can't order in decimals. So I'll just change that to 2372. And I'm good to go with that. So there's several ways we just created our purchase orders. We can do it one line at a time. We can add items in bulk off of a list, verifying against quantities on hand, things of that nature. We can upload it from our spreadsheets. So let's go back now and take a look at our dashboard. I'm going to go to my Purchasing Manager dashboard. This is a great way to manage your purchasing so that you can begin to look for things like purchase suggestions. Now this, as all dashboards, can be custom designed around just the things that you think are important that you want to bring up. So I'm going to look at my purchasing suggestions. I call this somewhat of a light recommendation by the system because it's telling me that I need to order 83 of these only to bring me up to my reorder point, not to my safety stock. But again, I can change that. It's whatever rules I'm looking for in that replenishment suggestion off of my dashboard. Another thing my dashboard is going to tell me is I've got all my open purchase orders pending approval. So when I create a purchase order, it needs to go out for approval. I know what I'm waiting on. I can make sure that gets responded to. But here I see sales awaiting purchases. This I really like because this is going to tell me these are items I need to order right away. I've already got a sales order. The customer is waiting for it. And so I can go out here and begin to click off these and place the orders and approve them for purchase right off of this dashboard. Make sure they don't get forgotten. Another way to find out what inventory you need is to go to your inventory, and let's go to prepare replenishment. If you remember from my dashboard, I said it was kind of a light suggestion for ordering. This one's going to be a little bit deeper for me. Put in my warehouse that I want to replenish. And you'll see now I have 2 items, but it's recommending the quantity to process to bring me back up to full inventory based on my inventory setup. I have a reorder point of 5, a maximum quantity of 20. I've got 6 on hand, 11 on demand, and so it recommends that I place an order for 25. If I wanted to get rid of only suggested items, I can do that, and I can take a look at the rest of my inventory as well. Another thing I can do is come down here to a specific item and say I want to order hockey table. I know we've got somebody that's been interested and I want to make sure I have enough in stock. So I'm just going to go ahead and add 2. And then when I do that, I'm just going to process those 2. I'm not going to order anything else here. Processes that item for me. And now if I come down to the hockey table, you'll see that it went from quantity to process, moved it over to quantity planned. So now I know that I have this planned for order, and I can go ahead and begin to look at creating purchase orders from here. One other way to handle purchase orders or create purchase orders, if you're using manufacturing, you might want to use the material requirement planning and look at the MRP display. Now this is a little more enhanced because it's also taking a look at things that you need to manufacture as well as purchase to manufacture. It takes into account all open orders and production orders in your manufacturing, and you can go ahead and select items right off of here and select purchase or manufacture if you want to add them to your manufacturing production orders. We're not going to do that in here. This is just focused on purchasing. Next step after we know what we want to order is I'm going to go out to my purchasing menu and I'm going to create purchase orders. When I get here, you're going to see and recognize the in-planned orders. That includes that hockey table that we just added. So those are all sitting here ready for me to create purchase orders for. I can select which ones I want to do. Maybe I want to do it based on my vendor, so I'll just go and select just this one vendor. And I see I've got some that are going to be made for drop ship. So it's not just bringing things into inventory, but I've got something I need to drop ship. Where's that going? I can go over here and look at the sales order and see that it's for a customer. I want to pull that order up. I'm just going to click on the hyperlink right there. This brings up the other way I mentioned, which is creating purchase orders or requisitions directly out of your sales order. When I'm entering a sales order, I come in and I said, okay, I've got this item and I marked it for purchase order and I said it's going to be a drop ship. I'm getting a warning because the purchase order hasn't been created yet, which we saw back in Create Purchase Orders. While I'm doing this, I might say, okay, somebody came along here, they ordered Acer laptop, and I've got plenty in stock, but what if they ordered 300 of those? I know I have 290 available at this point. So when I do that, it gives me a warning telling me that my inventory is going to go negative. So right here, while I'm creating the order, I might determine that I want to also mark this for purchase order. As I do that, the PO source comes up and said, do I want to bring this into inventory for shipment? Or as long as I'm doing another drop ship, should I go ahead and drop ship this to the customer? In this case, I want to use some of my available stock, so I'll just make a purchase to order. And then I can adjust the quantity when I go back in to prepare replenishment. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we'll close the order. And then I'm going to refresh my Create Purchase Orders. And again, we're going to be able to now see it's been added to my list. And I now have 2 items for $74.89 and $74.89. Those are the 2 items that we added from the sales order. Once I'm ready to create my purchase orders, let's say I want to order that hockey table. I just click on that and click on Process. Hold. Make sure everything is correct. And this brings up the approval process. At the approval process, if I have the rights, I can go ahead and approve it here. So I'm going to do that. But otherwise, it would have to go out for approval. The other thing is we can determine ahead of time whether this vendor gets emailed their purchase orders or purchase orders are printed. If you want to, I just clicked on the little star here and add it to my favorites. So I don't have to go to my menu additions here. I can just go straight and add it to print purchase order. So right from this screen, I can print the purchase order. Same thing could be done through the email process and just make it automated for you. I know that was a quick look at purchasing, but certainly get in touch with us if you have any questions. I'll go through one more process, and that's the payable side. Even though we're past purchasing at this point, I just received a new bill, and we'll show how that ties back to your purchasing and also to your receiving department. I want to go in here, bring up a bill for, let's say, Eastcom. And at this point, you can pay purchase orders before you receive, but that's a vendor setup item that you can select. I don't allow that. I do it only on receipt. I can do it by a specific line item or the entire receipt. I bring this up. It shows me the receipt number, shows me the amount that's been received, what's not been billed. I can then add that directly to this bill. So again, being able to enter your orders, match it to your purchasing receipts is controlled completely from front to end. And also any items ordered for a sales order are automatically allocated to that, so they're not shipped out to a different customer. For more information, come see us at aswius.com. Thank you.